We start now. Really a great pleasure having you here, Vaibhav.
Thank you.
And in this place in UID, in this situation here, we'd have loved to have you real, but how things are now. So we are going ahead with raw. I just, like what you said, you need some prompt in this thing. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me? Yeah, I just would like to start with, of course, everybody knows Lamput. Even I came to know of the Emmy nomination only a couple of weeks ago. A couple of days ago. But, I have been, whenever I get stressed, I go to YouTube, laugh my head off. Yeah, I just want to, I start the question with, how did this Lamput happen?
Right.
Yeah, what were your, what were your inspirations, and how are you managing its production now? Because I know that it's an ongoing kind of thing, and how is it, how are you keeping pace with it, with all these things, nonsense happening around? And yeah.
So Lamput, basically, between projects, when we used to do commercials, like it's around 6-7 years ago, it would be flooded with a lot of work for a couple of months. And then there would be a couple of days or weeks, even at times, when there would be absolutely no work. We would either be working on our own film, or that was the jobless time, is when we would think, fall back on our wish list on what all we probably missed out on, and what is it that we would like to do. So during that time, like, I was missing doing something with shape morph. Like how at NID also sometimes that SFS kind of exercises, or just morphing, something morphing into something else. Maybe I had not done anything like that for a long, long time. So I was missing something like that. So I thought, maybe what if there is this character that keeps morphing, can become anything. But then based on that, the rough idea, I started building a rough, small plot. And started adding things to it. If okay, this is this character, what does he do? I thought that it's probably escaped from an asylum, and then there are some people who are trying to catch it, but this guy is too smart for them. So like that, some premise I was working on. Murthy, if I can share my screen, I can show you some images also. Should I do that?
Yes, please.
Okay. So let me just see. So there was a rough, like a pitch docket that I had compiled. Can you see my screen? So can you see the?
Yes.
Can you see the image? Can you see the image?
No.
The Lamput image?
No.
Oh.
Sir, please open the image and share. Go to share, and then click the image, sir.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Should I say, because I started sharing my screen and then I opened the image. Should I stop share? Okay, I have stopped it. Now let me try going to the image. And then share screen.
Please open the image first, sir.
Yes, I have opened it.
And then go to the share.
Yes.
And then click the image.
Okay. I'll click on image. Yes, ACDC. Okay. So right now, can you see the image?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So then this, like it says August 2014 or something. So even before that, like say some 2 years ago, I had roughly doodled out certain things, and I had thought, because this logo was orange and we were doing a lot of work for Nickelodeon, and they had this orange splat. So I thought I will pitch this idea to Nickelodeon, and it'll be very ideal, and we'll get paid to do all that. Nothing of that happened. I shared it with them. So basically, this is the pitch. It's this gooey orange nutcase that has escaped from the asylum, and there are these two medical cops who are trying to get him. But the problem is they can never get him, because Lamput is the master of disguise. So even if he's there, you don't know he's there. So there were these little doodles. So every time they get to him, Lamput innovates a new way to escape right under their noses. And there were these three very short story ideas. So this was roughly the pitch. Uh, so this is what I had shared with Nickelodeon. And then they did not show much interest, so I kept it aside. 2 years later, there was the Asia Pacific region of Cartoon Network. They also called up saying, we are looking for local content from the Asia Pacific region. So if you're developing anything, please share. So I had this thing ready-made, and I think that's when I compiled it to look a little organized, and I shared it with the Cartoon Network team, and they were damn happy with the basic premise, and they said, let's do a pilot, let's do a few episodes to see how it looks. And so then that is how we proceeded on, making like a pilot episode. Then we did a rough Bible. Those are just formalities, just for people to for us also to be clear of what we are thinking. So it's just, can you see the screen? Hello?
Not yet.
Oh. Share screen. Okay, I think every time I close and open, I have to re-share it again. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is roughly a Bible with, model sheets. Although there is no model sheet in Lamput, every image, it keeps changing. So, roughly we had made together a reference, because as production began, many new people and unknown people joined the team in various parts of the world. There were people that were going to contribute. Like a team was assembled by Cartoon Network. So just for that sake, we had to have some doc which would give people a clarity on, what is the basic texture of the backgrounds. It's very rough, very handmade, very simple designs. Some stills from the film that we had done entirely, we used images from there to compile like a docket. And these are various episodes, ideation, small, we call it springboards or a synopsis. So small, what happens in this parking episode, what happens in Orange Wall. So these are just reference stories of what would happen and how it would be, how the story will unfold. So that was like a rough Bible. And then I want to introduce you guys to the people, some of the important team members. Okay, so can you see the image on screen? This is Anand Babu. He joined us when Cartoon Network accepted our pitch, and they wanted us to start a pilot episode. That's when I saw Anand Babu's work online, and some brilliant work he has done. I'm sure many of you know him. Many of you may be following his work also. So Anand Babu joined us almost 7 years ago, and together we started work on Lamput, and it's mostly his madness, his genius that is like fueling the show. So he's directing season 3 right now. We did 2 seasons already. So it's Anand Babu. It's all hand drawn. So it's mostly Flash, which is now called Animate, and it's even though it's Flash, it is not tween, or it's not shape tween, or we're not using symbols. We are doing it the traditional way, where we draw keyframes and then in between it, color it, and the backgrounds are all hand painted. This is Ganesh Kotale, who does most of the paintings for the background. So it's all very, very rough. The brush texture is something we love seeing, so we want to keep it raw. This is Roto Shah. He's another mad sound designer and music composer. He's given the voice, composed the music for the first 2 seasons. All of us brainstorming together. So that's basically the lump story. So after the initial pitch, because there were no dialogues in it, it is all non-verbal. It could be used anywhere, and that was a very big plus, because Cartoon Network received favorable response from Europe, from Latin America, from North America, Australia, all regions. So as a result, they could sell that content all across the globe, and that's how season 1 was a series of, I think, 45 or 50 shots. They were all, at that time they were called micro shots because they were 15 seconds, 1-5, very very short ones. So that was season 1. Then after the success of that, they were very thrilled to see that output, and they commissioned longer. They asked, can we make longer ones? So that's how we went into 2-minuters. So season 2 was a series of 2-minuters. I think we created around 22 2-minuters, and that is when more people started consuming the show online, as well as Asia Pacific got very good response from Europe and their other partners, Cartoon Network. And then they jumped into season 3, where we are doing 2-minuters, and we're also doing 5-minuters. So from a production point of view, Murthy, you had asked about the production. Like with the scale, it's very very painful that we realized, because till season 2 it was all in-house. We would do entire pre-production, extremely detailed, and only the production was outsourced to Malaysia, a studio in Malaysia that would do the mostly ink and paint, in-betweens, cleanups, and compositing. Because the animatic itself from our side used to be extremely easy. It's almost like the keyframes, and we would also provide cleanup instructions on wherever the animatic was very rough. We would clean up certain drawings and give it as a reference. Okay, let me see if I can pull out some cleanups, because right now from home we are working on something. So I hope, Atri, this is not getting recorded, right? Is it
Recorded.
Yes, it is getting recorded.
Is it possible to pause? Okay, because I would like to show some stuff which is,
we can also go to the next question or prompt. We can come back to this thing because that's where it leads, actually.
Okay.
So
Can you put on recording? Yeah, thank you.
yeah. So I know this production business is getting too much, especially in this particular period of time when you can't even move out of your house, and you're getting to do guys from all over the world. None of them can get out of their houses. I mean, it must be really a mad time to actually get going. But I want to take you a little back in time when you were a student at NID, and it was I just want you to speak a little about it, but I just want you to remember this diploma film of yours. And I also want to tell you that R.L. Mistry, our teacher, was seeing your line test. You were not around, of course, and in the quick action recorder room, and I was there, and he turned around and he tells me that this guy we have to watch out for. Then, yeah, it's so long ago. And what do you think of those days of NID, of a design school, and what did you learn from this great man R.L. Mistry? Much of your construct is to do with layouts. You also said choreography, your layouts, your staging. I mean, all your stuff is based on that. So my question is, how much did R.L. push you into that? Because we were all stunned by your talent. But how does it? I mean, can you tell us that the very technicality of layouts and staging and design itself, how much did it come from R.L.?
Actually, firstly, what R.L. told about me, I'm just hearing this from you now, and it's like all moist-eyed. It feels so good. I keep meeting R.L. regularly whenever I go there now. So, but for me, more than the teacher, he's almost like a dad, father figure for me, especially because he was my guide for my diploma project. It was also the first time that we ever did a digital production. During I think 96, I had started work on the diploma project. Murthy, your mic is muted. I can't hear you.
96.
Yes, 96, correct. So before that, all our projects were shot on celluloid, and this was when I was very curious that let's try out digital. And I had discussed with R.L. His son Deepu Mistry was a very big mentor for me in terms of he was also young guy and he was very keen to to research software. So he had some very basic animation software, and the first time I ever scanned a drawing and with a paint bucket tool I filled colors. So RL, I think more than RL, RL was one big quality was he would never interfere, and he would always let you know that hurdle kind of a feeling I never ever experienced from him. He was always encouraging, always supporting, and that there was never a sense of interference from RL. And more than the teacher, like I said, both RL and ma'am, Mrs. RL, they were like parents to me, because I used to go to their house to work because their son had that scanner, and on his computer was installed some old Animator Studio. I don't know what the software was called. Animator Pro. so that flatbed scanner, we would stick a peg bar to it and then scan everything. Then on Photoshop, I would horizontally rotate it and then crop it, and each drawing. And I would go back to NID. I think late morning I would start work, and by evening I will take all my drawings. I will go to RL's place. I'll work whole night. He had a lovely basement. And there was like one chatai and one like a table fan. So like late night, I don't know, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock or something. Whenever I feel I will fall asleep, I will open that chatai. I'll sleep in that basement, switch on that fan, and then early morning I would get up, take a bus back to NID, go and properly maybe sleep or I don't know what. And then again midday I would take a bus again and go back to RL's place. So RL's home place was my home. And auntie would make in the evening. I would like, because as students, I'm sure you guys are all always hungry, right? Like we have very less money to eat something expensive, so we would do a lot of conjuicy with that. So at such a situation, Mrs. RL would get something like popcorn. Oh, that would be like like so precious in the evening, and that aroma, and you eat, you hog, and then you do your work. So it was such a beautiful time, like that diploma project itself. Like I'm very fortunate because that premise of doing research, like 2 months we did research in villages and slums, and then compiled a little story. So that process was so much fun, and support from RL has always been there.
Yeah. So, RL is also known to, kind of push layout, the sense of layout into film. And one can see it in your, Lamput, roaming around all over the place. So I will take it forward. After that, we hear of you in Channel V. Right? Yeah, strongly. Because we have, people who have been watching you are suddenly seen in Channel V with Simpoo, all over the place. And I just want you to remember those times. We will come back to the present, of course, but I want you to remember those times, and how much was Arnab inspiration for all of us, because Arnab really broke it, bringing animation into this television space, right. And kind of opened it all up, so that in the future also, for the young students now also, it's what he did actually. So what do you think of him, and how was working with him? He actually accepted concepts from you, opened up the arena for you. So how much of a guide, of a guidance, of a inspiration was he into your work?
Murthy, very correctly, like you said, that opening up and being open to different kinds of mediums or work is, I think, one big help that we got indirectly from Arnab. More than guidance, again, I would feel these people, they removed obstacles for us. That's it. That itself is such a big help. More than saying where to go, they let us go where we wanted to go. That I feel both RL and Arnab also very, very, they would not, that oppositions they would remove. They would remove hurdles and let you flow freely and encourage you to flow freely. So that is a very, very, big quality both these people possess. And even like Simpoo, we
Yeah.
went to Arnab when Famous was in a very bad state. Like Murthy, we were working on the
Yes.
Shivaji film, right?
Yes.
And we did such a bad film that our department was shutting down. And the owner of owner of Famous, he told Suresh that I'm shutting down. You guys, if you want to continue, you have to earn your own salaries. So that is one day when Suresh told me that it is like this, and two of us were there. And then we decided we'll go meet. Others was there in MTV. Arnab was in Channel V. These are for the others. These are our seniors from NID who were working in MTV and Channel V at that time. So we thought हम लोग को अपना पगार खुद कमाना है, तो हम लोग इनके पास पहले जाके थोड़ा भीख मांगेंगे, बोलेंगे कि यार हम लोग ऐसा कर सकते हैं, थोड़ा काम दे दो, आपका MTV में जो M बनता है, लोगो बनता है, एनिमेशन, there was a lot of animation content on screen then. Right now it's much lesser. Music channels like the station identity films were a very big thing then. And beautiful, so many artists would work and create lovely ideas. So we also pitched ideas to them, and we had like a set of 8 films that we had pitched to Arnab, and one of those films was a Simpoo film. So those were the 8 films that were commissioned, and the very first Simpoo film, Simpoo was my maths teacher when I was in 10th standard. So I used to make doodles of his in my school diary. So I made lots of doodles of his during my board exam Sorry?
Yeah.
So I had made like lots of doodles during my board exam. I had illustrated an entire book on my maths teacher. So when we pitched one of those ideas, one of them was my maths teacher film. And that particular film became very, very popular. And it was Arnab who told me that, Vaibhav, would you like to make more of the same guy, Simpoo? I said, of course. I have an entire portfolio of stories with Simpoo, and definitely we'll make. So I think we made close to 40-50 films over the years with Simpoo. And even after Arnab left, the other creative directors, everybody was very, very supportive because that character had become quite a popular character, and it was like a mascot for the channel. So even the shows, like the music reality shows that you see on TV nowadays, the very first one that was launched, Simpoo promoted that show. And in fact, even when the winner was announced, it was Simpoo who announced it in a press conference. So we knew the winner, and we had to make an artwork. We had to make the film within a week because the press conference was to be hosted, and the plan was that Simpoo would announce the winner. So it had to be animated first. We knew the results, and lip sync and all had to be animated. So the channel also supported the character a lot. Of course, now the channel is no more, but the films are all alive online, so you can take it.
Did you go and meet your teacher afterwards?
No, he was not. I don't even remember what he was like. He was not like a favorite teacher, or I was not his favorite student also. He was just a funny teacher. I'm sure all of us have encountered funny teachers, and the bad boys and all, they make fun, they make jokes of these teachers. So I used to really love those jokes, and I used to doodle them. So that's how this fictitious Simpoo in my head was created.
Okay. So, you just touched upon this, but how was your collaboration with Famous Studio? Can you tell us a little more about Suresh?
Right.
He was here with us yesterday.
Okay.
So he really spoke much about you about Lamput and stuff like that. But how was the collaboration with Famous Studio?
When I passed out from NID in 98, and I think Suresh had passed out in 97 or 96. So he had already told me that, we have this project ready. So once you're out, come over and we'll start work on that Shivaji film. So that way, it was a very smooth transition from student life to professional life. And fortunately, when things became really bad for us, and the owner of Famous Studios said you have to earn your own living, that was a blessing in disguise, because then we didn't have to do some boring work. We could pitch our own ideas and we could get clients. So whether it was ad films or pitching like this, channel IDs to different clients, we could do everything that we were doing as a student, and it was an extension of that. Instead of our guides, we are pitching it to our clients. We are convincing them. We are getting them excited with an idea, and then we are also getting excited making films in mediums that we love. Like I had done stop motion in NID, so when I came to Famous, I introduced stop motion at Famous. Also, we did something for MTV Poga. We did the Amaron Battery campaign. We did many new things. There was an entire like a season of stop motion when too many projects, everybody wanted stop motion, and we had to do it. So we were like overloaded with work. So I think that Famous entire 5 years that I was with Famous was beautiful. I had never even planned that I was going to start on our own, or we were going to have our own studio. I had no such intentions ever, because we were getting to do everything we wanted through at Famous, and we were making taking projects that we enjoyed doing. And so that collaboration was good fun. I think gradually I was more keen to work on longer format projects, and that's what led me to eventually start off on our own and branch off and do the kind of work that we wanted to do. But otherwise, that 5 years was a very good, very lovely process.
Yeah, and another question is, of course, a prompt is that once you got out of Famous and you started your own stuff, even by before then, you were associated with a very a certain genre of stuff, which is of joy, which is of bouncy characters, very 2D and supple, and that kind of genre where the end product is always a great laugh. So that was your forte, and that is your forte, and it is more or less drawing animation, 2D animation kind of thing. And then we hear that you are actually working on a 3D project, three-dimensional project, computer generated stuff, which is on your own film. And what are the kind of struggles that you had to go through, kind of in translating what you been doing so far into something very technical, yet you continue to hold on to that bouncy life of characters that is so familiar. And what is the stage it is at now?
Right.
The film,
Right. So for the film also, like you said, we were always exposed to the physical mediums. So whether it was hand-drawn or moving puppets or creating stop motion. So stop motion and 2D were primarily what we were working with. And like I said, I was very eager to work on longer format stories. So as I was working on the story for Return of the Jungle, which is the name of our feature film, while we were doing it, there were so many stories that were coming to mind with the same group of characters. So it was almost like an episodic thing in my head. So I was very curious to explore 3D. I still don't know the digital 3D softwares, the technicalities. I'm aware of it, but I don't have much hands-on experience. And thank God, I have beautiful team members who take it forward. So for me, I'm still an ignorant audience that is reacting to what I'm seeing. So I have some story that is exciting me in my head. I have certain characters, or a lot of the pre-production I share with my teammates, and they build it in digitally. So it's just a different tool they are adopting, and I am reacting to it as an audience. There are certain things which I'm very intrigued by when I see certain things happening in 3D. It allows my camera to go in to certain places, create fur, or create certain look and certain pluses which I could not do it in the physical world. And obviously there are a lot of frustrations and a lot of negatives also, which we are realizing now. So I'm just reacting as a layman to the images that they show me. So even now I don't know much about digital 3D, although technically we keep getting in these so many years, we keep getting stuck so many times, and many times I find it so frustrating that if there is a jungle image, if the tree has some 1,000 leaves, for that to render It takes so long. I think that, oh man, I'm just going to paint this green over here and finish it. I don't want those 3D thing. If you guys don't finish it, I will start drawing this entire film on my own and I'll do it. So there have been, moments where I've like told them that if you guys can't do it, I'm going to do the whole thing in 2D. So forget it. We'll not do it in 3D. So there have been a lot of frustrating moments, but every time, thankfully we have cracked it. And now we are at a stage where we have gone too far ahead. It's at least 75% done. And we were hoping to finish it this year, but I doubt we'll be able to do that now because last couple of months, few of our teammates have not been able to work properly from home. So that is where that is the status of the film. That I'm sure around 8 to 9 months dedicated, we should be able to finish the entire 110 minutes. We have finished around 70 minutes of footage already.
But I've seen some of it, and I'm sure people have seen it also. Is it kind of the teaser is out, right?
Right, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So many of you must have seen it, but what I want to drive at is the quality of animation, the quality of performance of your actors, of your guys, of your characters, still reflect Vaibhav Kumaresh, in the sense that you are there. So,
right.
I mean, I feel very sad about the 3D guys who are working with you because here they have to match it with you. So,
right.
But in translation of
right.
Of your drawing style, your bouncy characters, how much are you trying to get and hold on to in your?
Right.
Are you losing something in 3D, or are you trying to get it, or have you cracked it that you still get it? Where are you?
That is a constant confusion in my head because, like I said, I am reacting to it like an audience. Sometimes when I think full credit goes to the animators and the modelers also, who model the characters so beautifully that it translates my doodles very well. And even the artists, like in my animatic, I put as much as I know, whether it's the expression, whether it's the timing or the posing. And now the animators have been soaked into the film for so long that they have made it their own. They come up with much better ideas sometimes, and I am really impressed. So as long as I am enjoying what they are showing me, I am letting it happen. And there are no doubt there are frustrating moments where I feel that animatic I done looks so much better in 3D. It is looking so damn boring. So I have to confess that there are scenes where I don't like it at times. But then when it gets lit or when it comes in its finished form, I'm again liking it. So it is a little seesaw that will happen, I think, till the film gets done. And once the film is fully done, that is when I will learn, okay, what is it that we did? Because this film has happened in installments over so many years. We start work, we stop it, then we earn money to make the film. So it's like shutting the shop, opening the shop. So it is not the ideal way to make the film, but we have no other option. Like if we have to make what we want to make, this is the only way. We can't die out. We have to ensure that we live on and we do this, make this film happen. And once it happens, we've got a hang of it now. The teammates, they are taking it ahead so beautifully. I'm doing my bit. Everybody's doing their bit, and it's a small team. Like there are 15 of us. Like a core team is 15 to 17 people. So they are pulling off this entire feature-length film. So I'm really happy with that, and I'm glad if you can see that essence in the 3D medium also. Then I'm very happy. I think it's full credit to them. They have soaked in everything, and they know it equally well.
And my next question is again taking you forward in the sense that Lamput is happening, but what else is happening? Lamput, of course, you have kind of grained a work system to take it to where it is. But what else is cooking in the sense that, are you working on something? I mean, if it is secret, then don't say, but there something?
No. I've shown you all unreleased stuff. There's nothing secret.
No, but is there something that you are really hooked on to, and do you see yourself getting into, let's say, a game design or something? I mean, don't yell at me, but something of that kind. But are you looking at something in those areas? Are you looking at something which is, I mean, in the sense that you have acquired a certain position in because of the nomination at Emmy. And this will also bring in a lot of collaborators from outside, from abroad. Do you think that it's time for you to open up, perhaps, into a larger format film? I mean, I know the jungle thing is happening, but something which is collaborative world uh, kind of project. Do you think it is time for you to open up?
Would be frankly, I am very, very focused only on jungle. It is like, an unfinished wish. Till it gets over, I cannot open up or I cannot think of anything else because I feel guilty every day that I'm not able to work on jungle. Like right now, I'm sick of Lamput. I'm even Anand Babu, 2 years we've been on it. Although we are enjoying every bit, but 2 years is too long to be doing the same thing. It means not doing anything else. And that is very boring. So at the moment, like say 3 months ago, there were multiple projects going on because our Dal Roti projects also happened. And we have to fund the film with it. Thank God we are able to do that with our own concepts. Like for Nickelodeon, we pitched certain stop motion series. So they got excited. They are paying us to make certain films. The salaries of people are coming through that. There are different artists who are able to direct their own films. They are taking certain projects ahead. We are able to explore different mediums. At that time, I want secure time for myself so I can focus on my film and Lamput. So now Lamput has become a little bit of a irritation for me because it's not letting me work on our film. So I'm now devoting till this July, I think, everything to Lamput, finish it off, take it to a safe stage, and then slowly fade out and move into the film. So till our film is done, I will only ensure that salaries come so that we can work on the film. Beyond that, I'm not thinking at all, because if I do that, then the film will totally fizzle out. Because I still don't know how to make a film unless I give my dedicated time to it, and I'm able to, the start stop work. I have to counter it by trying to force myself to, dwell as much I can in the film. I cannot think of any other collaboration right now till the film is done. And I'm thinking once the film is done, we have a lot of other stuff lined up, and I don't even want to think of those things now because it will not let me work on my film. So right now, answer is when you said what is cooking, I was thinking of dal and chawal because right now we are all in that situation now. मैं अभी बर्तन finish करके आया था for the webinar. So when you say what is cooking, mind goes somewhere else. Sambar and rice and all that comes in.
Okay. So one other question. I mean, these are. Sorry, I'm bothering you too much. This is something which I've known you for long. You are really good with your work. You're really good with innovating stuff. But over some years lately, we also know that you are somebody who can gather people around you, run a business, and without fail, tentative, nothing, no stops, nothing. You're running it. So, what can you tell to our students who will probably be doing the same thing, in one way or the other? Probably they get together, a few of them get together and do this, or by individually going back to wherever they are from. What is it that you can tell them? How did you apply yourself into something like this? Because if I talk about myself, I have no clue because I only, I've never managed anything. So how how can you tell? What can you tell about this?
Right. So in my case, again, I have no job experience other than Famous. Famous also was like our own baby because we used to do everything ourselves there. And after that, we started our own work. So I have no knowledge of how studios work, how the industry works. But we've survived so far. The only reason I feel is we really have been doing what we love doing. Like my reason to leave Famous was purely based on something that I wanted to work on. And I was foolish or stupid or brave or whatever adjective you want to use. You can say that to, kick a lovely job, a respectable job, salary. I had just bought the house, in Bombay, that first buying of your own house moving from rented to your own house and paying the first couple of EMIs is such a big pain. And even before my first EMI was due, I quit my job. That was the stage. So at that point, there was no risk in my head because I was in love with that project that I was going to work on, and I just wanted to work on. And beyond that, I knew nothing. So it could be very, very limited in my head that I'm only thinking this, but that has what has helped me so far. I only think one thing: if I'm in love with this project, I want to do this, I will do it, whatever way. So even when gradually I wanted to tell longer stories, our team happened only because of Return of the Jungle. Like 17 of us were needed to create a feature film, and we assembled and ramped up our film only for that sole purpose. And because there were so many of us, they could also help in earning money to make the film, and we did it very efficiently. My only thing I would look for is every team member that came in had to have the same passion. They had to create something better than, they had to blow my mind. And I'm very happy that whoever is there in our team, they are brilliant people. I respect them very much. And I'm very happy. I'm happy to be part of their team. So they are all doing their jobs and they are all working passionately towards that. And at every stage, our goal, whenever we have to, regroup, we will fall back on our wish list. Like today, we have so many people. Netflix calls us every day and says, "What do you have? Please, Netflix from Singapore or USA." Everybody wants content. And now in this COVID situation, they want a lot more content. We are saying, "हम लोग को अभी और कुछ नहीं काम नहीं करना, हम लोग लंपुट में हैं, अभी हम लोग और कुछ नहीं बना सकते, आप लोग अभी दिमाग मत खाओ जाओ." So otherwise, everybody wants content and everybody comes to us. So we also think, okay, Anand Babu, I'll tell. Anand Babu has so many beautiful ideas he wants to work on. So we discuss with him, okay, what do you want to do? Let's find a way to do it and let's make money out of it. Let us stay alive. Our own work should earn us bread and butter to be alive. And we are happy because we are doing our own work. Every Lamput story is something we have cooked up. We want to do it. Yes, when you do the same thing for 2 years, even you will get sick of it. So we are also going in that flow. So it's a mixed bag. But I would say that every stage, decide what is it that you love doing and just choose to do that. That is when you'll do it well. And once you do it well, more than half the job is done. Everything else will come to you. Your clients will come, monies will come, team will assemble. If you want to do something, you will get it done. And if you have not done it, or if you are not being able to do it, for me, the only logic is you don't want to do it. That is why. There is no other excuse. There is no other reason. If you are not able to do something, the only reason in my head is that I don't want to do it. That's why I could not do it so far. Now, if I want to make a feature film, I will figure out my way. I have to stay alive. It is like a marathon for me. It is not a 100-meter sprint like your TV commercials in a week, in 3 days. Sometimes you have to finish a film, deliver, work day and night and slog and deliver. This is a different ballgame. This is a marathon. I can't sprint from the start line. I have to gradually build up my pace, for my last lap, I will sprint and I will finish the film. And we are sprinting, we are not sprinting, we are running the marathon together. So all of us have to run together, and that is our power. So at different stages, our strategy or whatever we do, at least for me, it is purely driven by what I want to do. So if I think I want to do this, I will bloody well give importance to certain things. I will bloody well remain disciplined in doing that, because in my head, that excitement is there, that you are going to see something after some time, something come alive. Animation itself is like that. Whether you're making a flip book or a feature-length film, you are making each image with that excitement that wow, जब ये चलेगा ना तो मेरी फटेगी और ये मजा आएगा, या जो audience को मैं दिखाऊंगा उनको मजा आएगा. With that hope, you are making it. So with Jungle, it was very, very strongly that feeling that we have to make it, because I feel that I should share this story with my audience. They need to get to see this, and if I don't make it, who will make it? So that kind of various thoughts are triggering us to do it, and we have to figure out the way to do it. If we have to earn 15 crores to make that film, we will very well earn it and earn it with our own exciting ideas and our own way of doing it.
I mean, we are surrounded by lots of young filmmakers right now. What is it that one thing that you want to tell them about what the world is? You know, much of it you have said already, but what is it that is waiting for them outside? I mean, we, you probably have been lucky, you said, for famous to have been there, and then all this, I mean, for being in Bombay, and, this conviction that you said about, wanting to finish your film, therefore that is driving. But what is it that you want to tell them about the world that is outside? Because they are very protected in a college, for their family, everything. And they are learning a trade which is very, very risky, which is very, I mean, you know how risky it is. So what are you going to tell them? What message do you have for them? And they are getting into a world which is not as easy it was for us. It was tough for us actually, but things have opened up. But it's that risk or the tenacity with which they have to go ahead with life is enormous. So in that sense, what do you have to say to them? This is the last prompt, and then we'll open for questions.
Okay. No, so like what I did, I can only recommend that education is a time where you get clarity about your own self. You are obviously learning about the medium, but you are learning more about your own self. What is it in the medium that excites you? You did not join this course, hopefully you did not join this course thinking कि मैं इतना पगार बनाऊंगी जाने के बाद इतना कमाऊंगा मैं या ये करूंगा. Hopefully you joined with lots of aspirations कि wow मैं ऐसी फिल्म बनाऊंगी या मैं ऐसा कॉमिक बनाऊंगा या मैं ऐसे कैरेक्टर्स बनाऊंगा ऐसी कहानियां बताऊंगा या so that wish list you have to first satisfy that, whether you are in the industry or you are as a student. While you are learning, while you are doing your work, you have to learn about yourself. You will come to know that ची मुझे ये अच्छा नहीं लगता है. Don't invest time in that. ये मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. Arriving at that clarity is very, very important. To know what you really love doing and what you don't love doing so much. Knowing that is very important so that you can prioritize your time on doing stuff that you love doing. So, and today you are much more exposed to whatever thing is happening around you. You know who are the kind of studios or what are the kind, and you're not limited just to India. There are so many students go abroad, and there is variety of work, whether it is Europe or whether the US or Japan or Korea or Singapore, Russian countries have some beautiful schools. So I think I think that exposure is immense, and it is your clarity. What is it that drives you to make animation? That is what will take you forward at every stage. Then, when you are excited with that work, there will be no risk at all. You will not even see that risk. It will not feel like a risk. It will not feel like hard work. It will not feel like tapasya and all that stuff. It is just fun. You're having so much of it. You're slogging, and you will not feel like you're slogging. You will not never burn out if you're enjoying it. So I don't know. Like I said, I had only one job experience. Whatever you do, you have to figure out. But before I joined Famous, that's another important thing. I told Suresh that I will join Famous. Definitely, that given my word saying I will come and work on the Shivaji thing. But before that, I want to go and see what all is happening all over in India. I went to Chennai. I had Shekhar and Swami were working in Millitoons. They're my seniors. I went there. There was another Siju Thomas who was heading Millitoons at that time. I went and met them. They offered me some work. Can you do this? We need a lot of artists. You can join us. Let us know. In a month, whatever. I told after a month, whatever. Okay, I told them, I'm joining Famous, but after I finish that project, I'll come here. Then I'd gone to Bangalore and many studios. That time there was a lot of outsourcing work which was coming to India. So all these places that I saw, I felt allergic to, because I knew I cannot do something like that. So Mickey Mouse has to be drawn a certain way, or I don't know what characters they were working on. I could not draw that character like that. I will draw it my way. Mera Mickey Mouse ban jayega, which will not help their project. And somehow I did not like that, because at NID also we were trained to explore our own ways of telling a story. So why should I waste time telling somebody else's story? If I'm getting an opportunity to tell my own story, why should I not do it? So I did not consider any of those. And so similarly, whenever you have options, uh, evaluate what you love doing. I'm sure those other options would have paid me much better than famous, because famous I used to live in a makeup room. They had given me one place to stay and some, I don't know, very less pagar, monthly pagar, but we never even thought of it. Like Suresh told me, यहाँ पे रहने का इतना हम लोग को मिलेगा पैसा महीने का. That's it. Whole day you are at the studio. You go and crash out. Like once you sleep, there will be one more foot in the room left, so the leg will not touch the wall. That way it was comfortable. It's a makeup room, and there were some 3 of us in that living in that room. So it's a very small place. So if you think all that, then you will not go anywhere. As long as you're getting to do the kind of work that you enjoy doing, that should be the only criteria according to me.
One more thing. Can I?
Yes.
Yes. While wind up, we'll take some questions afterwards. But how much do you think involvement of the students in reading, in watching films, in kind of exposing themselves to the world, developing a worldview, how much of it do you think is important?
I think it's going to open you up totally, because otherwise you're going to be in isolation. Okay, you are nurturing your own ideas, which is good. Every day we are interacting with people, subconsciously we are absorbing, we are framing our own viewpoints. But it is very nice to see others' viewpoints also. You might get inspired or excited by something. You may not agree with certain things. So watching films is like that. And you will gradually, your choices also, your choice, you will filter it out, that you like watching certain kinds of films, you do not like watching certain kinds of films. But for that, you have to watch everything and then form your own opinion. We all will have our own opinion. We all will have our own preferences. So to strengthen that preferences, even when you are making your own film, why are you making it a certain way? You will be more confident when you approach your own films. When you see other films, you will consciously make that decision कि यार मुझे ऐसा फिल्म नहीं बनाना है, मुझे मेरे जैसा बनाना है, या वो फिल्म कितनी अच्छी है, ऐसे ही फिल्में मुझे अच्छी लगती है. Even I would love to make something like that, but my way. So it is very important to see how different people have expressed themselves, and also to know about them. Films that you like, maybe read up about the makers and in what circumstances or in what conditions, what were their viewpoints, in what conditions did they make their films, or they write a certain books. I'm sorry, but I'm very bad at books. Maybe I don't know. I have some allergy with text. But if there are comics, I love reading books with images and text. If it's only text, then I'm very allergic to such books. But yes, books also. Those who are not allergic to text, please consume lots of books and films, whether it's live action, whatever language it is. Today, with Netflix, Amazon, all that, you have such a wide range of films from all over the globe. So make full use of it.
It's a little more than an hour now. Can we take some questions
Can we take
now? Or
yes, we can.
Yeah. Yes. I have
there.
Anya. Anya, can you hear me?
Anya, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Can you speak, please? Yes.
Okay, so my question is that I'm pretty sure we can agree that creating a story for a feature-length film and for an episodic series would be very different. So in this case, how do you minimize your content in terms of a given time without compromising the integrity of the story? Like what features or parts would you prioritize when you're stripping it down to the basics for a 7 or a 3 minute or a 5 minute, like to the minimum mainly? To a 3 minute maybe.
Right. Okay, when we are doing episodic work, if we are doing a 2 minute or a 5 minute or a 7 minute, firstly, when the seed of an idea comes, we need to flesh it out a little more for us to know whether it will be a 2 or a 5 or a 7. So our story team, our team members, we sit together and brainstorm first, churn out a little more data on that particular story premise, and then we decide, okay, should it be 2 or 5? That is one rough uh, start point for us. And as we keep typing it, we also doodle. So our script is never always text. Yes, we need to send it for the storyboard artist to, get every detail that we have in my mind. But at our end, we need to doodle as well as write text script. So that is, even when we type, we try to play the film in our head and time it out. That this sequence will approximately be 1 minute, or this will be 15 seconds. There will be another 1 minute, 1 minute. So that's how we will get our 5 minutes. So despite all that, the challenge is always there that sometimes it runs over by a minute or half a minute, or we need to try and crop it. And that stage you decide what is priority for the story. Things that are not needed, or sometimes can you pace it differently so that it finishes it in 5. There are different other editing related or pacing related decisions we'll be taking. So the approach to a story building is roughly like that. In a feature, in our feature especially, it is our own time, it is evolving. It is the first time I am immersing myself in a length of that nature. So I'm also learning. I am not the right person to tell you that, but in a feature I am just jumping into the thoughts or the story moments that are exciting me, and I'm trying to put it down. Again, I put it down as pointers, like chapters, like this happened, this happened, this happens, and at the end I want this to happen. Now how do I go from chapter A to B to C, and how does the story flow? Then gradually you arrive at a screenplay. What are the dialogues? When you are doing your animatic, you again come back to the dialogues, because sometimes when you see it visually, you feel that some things are missing. You may want to add certain things additionally. So it keeps evolving till the very end. So I don't know if I've answered your question, but these are the basic approaches. Like in an episodic format, your core is locked, and you sprout out various stories from the same thing. At the most, you can have fun because it is like a family that you are building over episode. You can bring in new characters, you can introduce a new personality for the same character, and you can focus more on a certain character who has not been featured much. So in the same ecosystem, or in that world, you can keep deciding and deciding where to stage your story.
Okay, thank you. That pretty much answers it.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Hi, I have a question. I wanted to ask that how do you create cost-effective animation? I mean, like, you convey what you want to convey, but with the same feelings and the same kind of drama that you want to put in there. But at the same time, you make it a very cost-effective animation.
Okay.
With the visual look and appeal.
Okay. So when you start a project, you have to estimate how much of your time it's going to take in. You have a vision for the project in which you don't compromise. You think like big, and you think this is how I want to do this. Roughly, you have a plan of action in mind that, okay, I will do it this way, because you have to bid for it at the start. You have to cost for it. Once you have costed for it, you know that there is a deadline set. There are certain milestones in which different stages at which work has to be delivered. Once you are into production, then you never think, yaar, ye is cost mein na nahi hoga, to main thoda kam karta hu. You never think that. You go out of the way to do it as best as you can. Yes, it is there in the back of your mind that when there is so less time, or there isn't maybe enough funds to get more people. But within that, what best can you do? Because finally you've agreed to doing a project, and you can't put out shoddy work. So when you are bidding for it, you do all your gyan thing, and whatever you need to, all your approximation or all your planning it happens at that stage. Once you've given the cost, then you jump into it full time and see what best you can do. Because in our case with Lamput, season 3, we are living with it for 2 years. So it's 2 precious years of our life. So we better make something that we are proud of. No, it is not like paisa banao 2 saal tak. That is not the intention. So cost effective, once we jump into it, we don't think what is cost effective. And having said that, yes, there are other teammates, like say there is a studio in Malaysia. Sometimes we tell them just make a three frame loop, that is enough. But we say that not thinking of cost, but of the story. We know that something needs to be simple and that's not the hero component of the film. So we will tell them that don't overdo it on this shot. Keep it simple. There are certain places where we will give them retakes, 2, 3, 4 retakes that, we still have not got it right. Put it like this. We will draw it and give it back. Like I told you, storyboard artists, we are not happy with. We are almost boarding out the entire story ourselves. I'm sitting night and, I'll board it. I'll share it with Anand. He will give his suggestions. Collectively, we will send it to the storyboard artist. At times, we don't have the time to educate or to guide or to handhold an artist at this kind of a schedule. So sometimes we say, take this and just put it. I'm not happy with the staging you've done. I'm not happy with the way the story is unfolding. I have boarded it this way. Just use this. So once you jumped into a project, I don't think, okay, there is sometimes you just come back as a producer. If I'm also playing the role of a producer. I'm responsible for so many families, employees. So from that point of view, yes, I need to always take a step back and think, okay, पगार का पैसा है सबका अगले महीने का बस अभी छोड़ो अगले महीने तक काम में घुस जाओ. Again, you can come out and you keep assessing, okay, where are we in terms of money scene. That is as far as thinking about money scene goes. Occasionally, you call up clients and say, "Bhai, aapka payment due hai. When are you giving the balance? All the deliveries are done. Bills have reached you. Certain follow-ups you have to do." So you play multiple roles, yes. But when you're working, cost cutting or cost effective is something you decide at the first. That okay, we are going to charge this much for this. Once you are into it, you give it your best.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Does that answer your question, Mazhar?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, who's next?
Any other question, please? Guys, hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Aman.
Yeah. Speak up.
Yeah, so I had this question. So we have these two kinds of cartoons that like we see. The one which has a larger arc, obviously, like we have these episodes, we have adventures in it, but we have the larger arc. And then we have cartoons like Tom and Jerry, where we go in a loop. So I wanted to understand like how is it different and how do you treat both of them? Like how do you go about with these two?
See, something like Tom and Jerry, it also showcases the art of animation, the skill, the way it is drawn. It is very, very like the slapstick nature or that physicality of the storytelling. The story itself, if I had to write in a script, it could probably be like Jerry wanted to get that piece of cheese. He went out, but what are the hurdles? Tom didn't let him. Then how did he finally manage to get it? It could be just as simple as that, but just that journey for him to come out of his hole, reach the cheese, that itself, there is so much of fun that can be had. That is the visualization of the artist. So Tom and Jerry, it can be a very simple story, but they flesh it out. Like say today, Jerry's uncle is going to visit him. That uncle is the tough guy. Tom doesn't know that. So he's bullying Jerry, but the uncle thrashes Tom. He's so small, but he thrashes Tom. So you keep expanding that world slowly. So I feel these are different approaches. Something like a Dexter's Lab or Papa Girls. Every episode they would probably have some challenge, and visually also the telling of the story as well as the story, both are equally important. Many times the telling of the story is even more important. Like Ramayana, you all know, everybody will know the same plot. Okay, this wife got kidnapped, he went and with an army of monkeys, he did that. But different people, like the Japanese told it in a very different way. When or Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana is playing right now, it's breaking all records of viewership on Doordarshan. So you see that is a storytelling of a very different kind. your Ekta Kapoor will make a Ramayana or Mahabharata in a very different way. So every telling of the story is very, very strongly dependent on the teller. So even in the episodic format, if there are different formats, like you said, Tom and Jerry is one thing. What would be a different show? The name of a show? Like, could you say, give us a different example? Like, if Tom and Jerry is one kind of episodic work, what would be a different type of episodic work according to you?
As in a different example, that existing
Yes.
example.
Yes.
So, like with the larger arc or with the shorter arcs, just like
anything. Like, say, Tom and Jerry is also a 7-minute episode. When you say larger arc, what do you mean? Do you mean a feature length?
No. What I mean is the a storyline that goes on behind the main pushing point that's leading the whole thing to one conclusion at a bang end.
Right.
So like we're going towards something, and then there are these two, because I saw there are these two types of cartoon series that or animated series that we have. One go like a Wings Club that we had in our days. It had like these constant people. But we had a larger arc to it, like probably. Okay. But with things like Tenali Rama and everything, we have these short series and adventures, and they get over, and it's like it's still a repeat.
So I feel it is the storyteller's call. Even in Tom and Jerry, there is an arc, or there is a motive for your main character, your hero or villain. Like a person wants to do something, there has to be some hurdle, or you can consciously break all these structures as long as you know that in my 7 minutes, this is how I want my idea to be presented. You can have fun with it. Have you seen Future Boy by Miyazaki? Miyazaki's directorial debut. Has anybody seen the students? I think it's available on YouTube. So it's like a 26 episode, in the like very, very old series. So that is when the Dharavahik thing is there, where you have to see 1, 2, 3, 4 in order to know the story. But now you have episodes which are independent, because people just switch on, they watch some 7 minutes, they're happy with it, they shut down, they go back. They'll come back to watch another episode of Tom and Jerry. Like Tom and Jerry, I don't need to watch episode 10 to know episode 12 or 13. No. So everyone is weaving their stories differently. You see, Marvel has standalone Spider-Man or a Hulk or a Thor, but they have films where Avengers, everybody comes together. There is a backstory. If you know the backstory, you will enjoy this even more. But regardless of that, it is still a self-sufficient plot. Then they'll get everybody in. Oh, everybody with their backstories will come in one, and they'll pass some comments which is related to something else. They will match different things. It's almost like a Mahabharata. One day you hear about Ghatotkacha, but during the war, one fine day he will return, play an important role. So there are so many threads. There is one long arc which is two cousins fighting over something, but there are so many subplots. So it is again your call. You want to make it one thread. Like Tom wants to eat the cheese. Jerry wants to have the cheese. Tom will not let him have. That itself is one intention or a motive, and that there is a hurdle there. So you can even make a film that My Summer Holidays. There need not be an intention, there need not be a hurdle. It can be a non-linear spectacle kind of a film that you just want to express that beautiful feeling that you have. Your next episode could be My COVID Days. I don't know. So it's a feeling that it's a series of different emotions that you are stringing together. So as a storyteller, again, as an individual, what is it that you want to share with your audience? That is very important. All the theory is secondary. So before anything else, you need to be very sure and excited with that. This is what I want to convey to my audience. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Sir, I had a question.
Yes.
Yeah, I was asking, Lamput is a very simplistic kind of an animation, so to see, visually. And whenever we are visualizing one of our series, and since we have a lot of influences from major studios like Marvel and things like that, we cook up a lot of higher quality stuff. So how do we like cut down on that and make it easier for us to carry it on, because we'll get tired if we keep on animating the higher quality kind of stuff.
Okay, so get tired. No, then you will realize it's important for you to realize how to, you have to figure out your own answer. So the best way is to make your mistake. Unless you, best way meaning that's the only way. Make your higher quality work, get drained out, and realize that this is not going to work out. And then struggle to figure out a simpler style to figure out that, wow, this also works equally well. And it is simpler. Like simplicity is basically like highest form of sophistication. Who told someone? Great guy too. So like even to arrive at simplicity, you have to work really hard. It's not like मैंने एक ही line बनाया तो ये simple है, ये best है. ऐसा नहीं. उससे पहले मैंने बहुत सारा दिमाग फोड़ा, बहुत कुछ बनाया, but मुझे वो अच्छा नहीं लगा. And then the way I simplify it is also very important. I will learn myself how I can simplify it. So you figure out your own answer. We go through that higher level which you are in awe of. Don't ignore it. You are liking it, so pour it out first. Dislike it first, then automatically you will know what to do. Okay, once you pour it out, you will know whether it was as good as it was in your head. So it's very important for you to pour it out, like as in make a film, physically express it. Like yesterday also there was some talking which we were doing, and I was saying like tatti jo hai na bahar nikalo pehle, then only you will know whether it is good tatti or bad tatti. Okay, then many a times we have that idea in our head, we are so impressed, but when you take it out only you will know chi aisa tha. So then it's important to take it out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any more questions, please?
I wanted to ask, how can you like select or segregate from your work, like this is the best out of around maybe?
That is your call. It's your work, no? Which is your favorite work? Which one is the one that you think you like the most, or which one is it that you think that turned out best? So that is totally your call. So obviously, your teachers, your colleagues, your batchmates will say kya mast bana and all, but internally you would know certain things that I really like doing this. So, or this is what you want to do. That is how you choose that this is my best work. In my show reel, this is what I want people to see first. Okay. Does that answer? Was that the question?
Yeah.
Hi, sir, Bhushan here. I had a question. So like after graduating, when I'm a beginner in an industry, what kind of experience should I aim? Like, I know that I want to be this and that, but then, for like, to be very knowledgeable about it, what kind of experience should I aim for in the industry?
How do I know what kind of experience you want? How do I know what experience you're looking for? You are the best judge of that. Go and explore everything that's happening in the industry. Even before graduating, you know what all is happening around you, right? So you will react to it. What is the experience that you're enjoying? You probably try and apply there. If you say that I want to study at Goblam because I've seen their work and it's amazing. That is the experience I want. Or I want to work at Studio Ghibli, or I want to work with this East European puppet maker, or I want to go to CalArts, or I want to work with Vaibhav Studios. Okay, so I don't know, or I want to start off on my own and pitch this amazing idea to Netflix and get it commissioned, or I want to work with Jendy Tartakovsky on his next dinosaur movie or something. That experience is yours, no? Like I may hate Marvel, you guys may love Marvel, or you guys may hate Marvel, I would love Marvel. So how can I say what the experience you should aim for?
I wanted to know, like, from industry point of view, like,
there is don't think about industry point of view. Think about your point of view. You are seeing the industry. There are so many points of view in the industry. There is VFX happening in the industry. The industry has countless things going on. There is gaming industry, there is comic industry, graphic novel industry, there is games for mobile platform, there is UI, UX. If you think from an industry point of view, every day the industry is changing. And if you keep changing every day, it will be like you're on a treadmill, you don't know where to go. You're just running. So you figure out, like I said, it's most important for you to have your own clarity. What is it that you want to do? You will select your experience. Industry is not going to select, I am giving you this experience. If you allow yourself to be driven by the industry, you will keep getting driven. So I would not recommend that. I would say you have a fairly good idea of what is happening around you in the industry. Now you make your choice based on what you love.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Juhi has a question for you, sir.
Okay.
My video isn't working well, so I'll just ask the question right away.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you more of a technical question. Whenever we are animating, we know we are going through the 12 principles and everything. Whenever we are actually picturizing the thing in our mind, it looks really nice. The way it flows, everything. But we actually animate it. The timing kind of messes up most of the time. At least for me, it messes up for the most of the time. So I just wanted to know how to get that right. I mean, I did see your references and stuff. They're very static at the moment. They're just pictures, but they do express what's gonna happen next or what would be happening. Right. But when I start to animate, it kind of goes like hazy. I mean, what's gonna happen and how it's gonna happen, or how much time does it take? I mean, whenever it's like the bounce or the stuff, that fails. So how do I figure that out, or how do I fix that out?
See, timing is a very, very exciting stuff. It is different in everybody's heads. Everyone is seeing things in different timing. So it is very important for you to know what you're seeing. Like you said, in your head, it was so beautiful, right? So express what you have in your head. Like sometimes when a cricket match is going on, the commentator is orally narrating. Like if you are listening to it in radio, you are experiencing the timing in a different way, right? Like when you're reading a book, you don't have an image in front of you, but you are cooking up the timing, the way the words are written. It builds the edit pattern. Either things are happening very fast or things are stretched, moments are dragged and slowed down for you. Similarly, even if you're listening to a commentary or something, there are moments when, he's going now, go! They build up something. Or sometimes, it's a lunch break and, the bowler is just, discussing this, or batsman is wasting time, or, that's maybe suddenly it also gives you timing, a sense of timing, of pacing. So sometimes maybe try narrating your story in a certain pace, or before you get down to animation also, pour out the clarity that you have in different ways. Like we make an animatic where we try and pour out the key positions of that scene. What is the essence of a scene? What should be the main drawings for that character to perform that scene? Then you go into your timing. So just through trial and error, you will probably refine it.
Okay.
So I don't know what, any other formula for it, but you have to, that practice is the only way. You react to what you're doing. You don't like it, you redo it. Gradually, it is very important for you to know why you don't like it. That is very, very important. You need to be able to figure that out. If it's not good, why is it not good? What could be better? So keep at it. That's the only way I know to.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Okay.
Any more questions? We are already an hour and a half.
It's an interesting session, sir.
Okay. Any more questions?
Okay. Everybody's got disinterested now.
Anyone from Sem 6? Since you guys are doing a series animation.
Sir, are you taking interns for the summer, at least online?
Online, no way. Because see, like I told you, till July is too much of work. Apart from Bartan, Jadu, Pocha, Kapda and all, there is like that Lamput season 3 is a big pain. I want to get rid of it first. And even managing work virtually with all our teammates, it is a little tough time right now with kids at home eating our brains and all that. So can't afford interns now.
No, I
And
mean, even
I
like
think even
unpaid
internship,
ones, we could help in Lamput if
right.
need be.
No, it's not a matter of payment at all. I think the best. We also enjoy the internship when the interns are physically at our place, when because we don't know what kind of work, every day the script changes in our projects, it's something else that we need to do, and that physical interaction in terms of churning out work, seeing it, it's very very important. So at this stage I would recommend that you guys use up this time to finish your projects where you are expressing your own selves. This is brilliant, that cocoon kind of an incubation time that you have. So whatever the interactions will not be possible at this stage. Your research or going to locations for recce may not be possible. Hopefully after 2 weeks it'll open up. But till then, whatever you have in your head, that pouring out, टट्टी निकालने वाला जो काम था, उसको करो. Best time है उसके लिए. So use this for that. I'm sure we'll have time for internship later. Share your work. Share some of your films or exercises that you've done. I'll also take you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Any other question, guys?
Ma'am, can I ask one question?
Yes, Archit.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to ask that whenever you're working on any kind of animation, especially if it's a feature length film, is there a team that is solely just dedicated towards the research part, or does the animation, like the team that is doing animation, does the research? Like, how does the research happen?
Right. I'll answer in our context. Because we are such a small team, like there are 15 of us working on the film. From a pre-production stage, there are very few people that are working on it. Like mostly it was me, because when we started off, we didn't have 15 people. So the entire pre-production, there was a lot of research where few of us, we also traveled to various places to do some recce on where to stage our scenes. But later on in production, it works out well for us when a person does more than one, plays more than one role, because we are again so few. If one person only plays one role, then they may become redundant, or their services may not be of use after a certain point. Say because in our case, because it's digital 3D, if a person is making the models of the main characters, if all the main character models are done, then he's no more needed. We can't do that. So that person also learns animation. That person may also build locations. They will all perform different roles. Like it's like a commando unit right now. Everyone, it's like a guerrilla warfare that we are doing. So everyone plays various roles, and that helps them also. Otherwise, if they are just going to be doing modeling for the rest of their life, it is going to be damn boring for them. They're not going to learn. They're not going to grow. So at times they will also, when we take up our commission project, it is the same 17 people. Some of them will drop their work on the film. They will move to a stop motion project, which is very, very refreshing. They also want to get that break. So in a way, it is going pretty well for us. Like they are seeing Lamput happen on one side, which is hand drawn. They can also play a role in the Nick idents that we are creating, which is paper cutouts or maybe puppets or pixelation. They are also seeing Return of the Jungle, which is digital 3D. We have something called dailies in our studio, where every day at 5 p.m. the whole studio will get together in one room, and every person will present what he or she has done, and every other person will comment on it. Like how you have your juries, where even your batchmates will give you feedback. Yeah, ऐसे क्यों नहीं किया, ये क्यों किया. So like that, different people will say, "Wow, this is nice. Oh, hey, this is not nice. That is not looking good." Or whether it was animation, whether it was lighting, whether it was any aspect or various projects. So So I think that kind of an interaction is very important. So I am not very much in favor of super specialization. Even if a person is doing a texturing of a hospital, we would encourage them to maybe go to a hospital, take pictures, or if they have to create a jungle, they'll go out, go to the national park for one day. And actually, I can see it. I live next to the national parks. So paid, whether it is tree barks or whether it's a texture of a leaf or how the roots are coming out of the soil, you go there, get first-hand information. That is more powerful. So at every stage, we would encourage every artist to do that. Not have just one set of team that does only research. Sometimes when work has to be categorized or there's a lot of work to be done, different people, they no doubt they will have their specialization, that is their prime responsibility, but they are they are open to contribute to other stuff as well. Does that answer, Archit?
Yeah, that pretty much does. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? Guys?
All done. Okay.
Shruti.
Yeah, is there more?
Yeah. Are we clear? Do we have any other questions?
No, all done.
All done then.
Thank you, sir. Shruti, would you like to do the honor, please?
Hi, Vaibhav sir. We're really grateful to have this conversation with you. It was very inspirational, and we got a lot of information about what to do in the industry and how to work. And a lot of us are actually working through our films, so this will help us a lot. The images you showed, the design Bible, will actually help us a lot with moving forward with our films, and especially the exclusive footage that you showed of the things that are to come. So on behalf of all of us, I want to extend my sincerest thanks to for you. I mean, to you to
Shruti, you're the
take time
class
out for
monitor.
this. Sort of.
Are you the class monitor?
Sort of.
She's the class monitor. She's been assigned. Like सब पहले से planned था कि last में उसको बोले श्रुति तुम अपना अभी चालू करो. Like सरस्वती वंदना होता है ना before a program starts. Saraswati Vandana.
Yeah, but it was really informative and it really helped us a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you, Murthy. Murthy is my guru. Murthy is my guru, and RL is Murthy's guru. So he's like our grand guru. So Murthy, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. And I would love to, ask you to come to this, to the department, to UID.
Yes.
Yes. You should come. These guys are working on some amazing stuff. I mean, as soon as the storyboards or something are, up, it'll be nice if you can come in. That is when the institute opens.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know when.
I think educational institutes are the last on the opening list.
Because these guys live in hostels. No, it's not so bright to get these guys here. I mean, there. So the idea is, once they have something to show, I'd like you to come there and, kind of hold a workshop of something, I mean, I won't take too many days, but, a short hardcore stuff, with their work, which is very, very, at a very interesting level of, completion by them.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye.